Welcome to the Wild Enthusiasm for Living podcast. I am your host, Dr. Melissa Mann. Join me for conversations about possibilities and tools for having more joy, more play, and way more of you. What would it be like to wake up every day with a wild enthusiasm for living? Hello and welcome to the Wild Enthusiasm for Living podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Mann, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to handle feeling irritable. So if this relates to somebody in your life, please share it and let's get started. So this is a topic that has come up a whole lot this week. And often when I have weeks where I feel like I'm having the same session over and over again, I realize that there's something in this for maybe the wider public. And I've had a number of people coming in saying, I'm just so irritated. I'm finding myself angry over little things, and I'm not normally like this. So I thought I would use this episode to talk a little bit about what do we do when we're feeling irritable? How do we get through it? How do we come back to ourselves? How do we ground? How do we feel a sense of peace and calm again, even when it seems like there's a lot of chaos going on around us and there's things that are maybe triggering us in a way that doesn't normally get to us? So what's come up a lot for people is they're like, I thought I was like kind of over this. Like things have been going really well. I've been, having regular workouts. I've been walking regularly. I've been meditating. And over the last little bit here, summer has sort of gotten in the way. So, people are going on family vacations. People are out of their normal routine. For whatever reason, there's just been a lot of things going on in people's lives where they've said, like, I'm sort of out of my normal routine and I see the difference. I see where I'm a little bit more on edge, a little bit more irritable. I have less allowance for people on the road. I have less patience for my kids or my spouse. So this is a conversation that has just been coming up for people. So one of the things that I have reiterated to clients is that, we have tools and life is not always going to be this sort of perfect, calm sea. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we are sticking to a regular routine. We are meditating every day. We're exercising. We are doing gratitude lists. We're taking care of ourselves. We're eating nourishing foods and making sure to get enough water, all of those things. And everything's sort of going peaceful and well. And then sometimes a storm comes along. If you think about, being out on a boat in the ocean, it's really easy to navigate when the waters are peaceful. But when a storm comes, you have to get a little bit more involved. You have to get up. You have to adjust the sails. You have to figure out what to do next to stay on course. And that's what happens when we have things that come up in our life, whether it's just busy things or whether they're things that might have thrown a wrench in things, whether, you lose a job or you have a breakup or something else occurs where your life shifts. Then it's like, okay, I have to figure out how to adjust the sails differently to stay on course. And none of that's right or wrong. It just is. That's just life. Things are not always going to be peaceful and perfect all the time, but how we handle it is going to be the thing that makes or breaks us. So if you find that you've gotten out of your routine for whatever reason, give yourself a break. I've let so many people know this, that, hey, it's just sort of a time of year. We get this up again around Christmas time when, or holiday time, whatever that is for you, when there's suddenly all sorts of engagements and parties and events and the kids are out of school and things get sort of strange again. We go through different periods of the year where things just get a little topsy-turvy. And that's okay. And instead of freaking out about it, still go, okay, well, where can I still include me? Where have I neglected to include me? So maybe you haven't had time for your regular exercise routine. Can you still take a 15-minute walk? Can you still take 5 minutes to meditate where you might have normally taken 30 minutes to meditate? What can you do to sort of stay the course? And when you're finding yourself a little bit on edge, where can you like take a step back and sort of have that bird's eye view of you and your life and kind of look at like, okay, but where did I get off track? What's going on in my life that I kind of gotten out of the things that are normally helpful to me? And one, is there space to just put those things back in place? And if so, do so. And if not, what can I do right now instead until things kind of smooth out again so that I haven't negated me? I found that taking a 15-minute walk can change my whole day. If I'm tired, if I'm irritable, if I'm just feeling kind of sluggish, 15 minutes. Now, if you can do longer, amazing. But if you can even give yourself a 15-minute walk, you will feel so much better. And it often gives me the space to clear my head, to get over whatever thing might feel stuck. Even if I find myself like stuck on a comment that somebody made to me, somebody said something that just hit me the wrong way. I know for me, the best thing that I can do is go for a walk and let my head clear. I also might do some EFT tapping, which I talked a little bit about in one of the podcasts on here. It's hard to do a full like tapping session in an audio because it's so visual. But you can go online and check out anything on YouTube with EFT tapping. And I should get some videos up there too on that. I think maybe something exists yet on the EFT tapping universe, because I find that that can really help me ground and regulate my nervous system when I am kind of activated, when something just hit me weird and I'm just like in a bad mood now, or something has me kind of on edge. I find that that can be really helpful. Something else is just to ground in your space of, okay, like I feel a little bit not myself. How do I come back down to the earth, to this moment, to the present? And first, connect to the earth. Even just ask to connect to the earth and allow that energy to surge through you, because the earth is incredibly grounding. That's kind of implied. But it allows you to be more present in your body and more connected. And then, okay, what can I observe in this moment? And even if it's just like, okay, I see a tree in front of me, I see my water bottle, I see some flowers. What are the things that you can see around you? You can even do that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, where it's 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste in just a moment. That can help you come back to the present and allow yourself to get out of your head. And then you can try some breathing techniques, whether you want to do like a 4 square breathing, which is, 4 breaths in, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, do it 4 times. I'm a big fan of 4, 7, 8 breathing, where you breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and breathe out for 8 counts. I find that that really allows me to slow down and come back to the present moment. All of those things can kind of help you come back to the right now. And then ask yourself, like, okay, something has me off. What is it? Am I actually irritated at the thing in front of me? Or is this a continuation of something that had me irritated maybe earlier this morning or maybe from yesterday? What is it that's actually getting under my skin right now that maybe I haven't acknowledged? A lot of times things will come up in our life and we just won't really have time to deal with it. So it might be this sort of mild annoyance and you're like, I'll deal with that later. And then something else comes up and you're like, oh, I'll deal with that later. And that pile of I'll deal with that later starts to build and build, except you haven't dealt with any of those things. And so then somebody cuts you off in traffic and you're like, oh my God, why is everybody so stupid? And now you're so frustrated. over, are you really mad that the guy cut you off in traffic? Maybe a little, but is it actually a buildup of things that have been bothering you for the last 24 hours or longer that you haven't really looked at or addressed? So it's okay to be like, wow, I reacted kind of intensely right there. I guess I didn't really need to have that big of a reaction. I wonder what's going on for me that I haven't acknowledged, and get present with you. Get present with your body. Maybe put a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, and take some deep breaths and come back into your center, and then look at it. Okay, what is bothering me that I'm not acknowledging? And maybe run through your day, run through your day yesterday, run through your week. Are there things that you're like, oh, yeah, I do keep setting that aside, and that's actually really bothering me? What's required now? Sometimes it's just a good shaking it out, right? If there's nothing to be done, there's no conversation to be had, shake out your body, shake out your arms, shake out your legs, or put on some music and dance and just get all that stuck energy out. Or maybe something else is required. Maybe there's a conversation with somebody that you've been putting off having, that maybe now there's an indicator like, oh, I'm holding this in and it's coming out as irritability at silly things. Maybe I actually need to talk to this person about this thing that's actually bothering me. And that would give me some space. And or write it out. Do a voice memo, talk to a friend, but get out those feelings. And this isn't about dwelling in it. This isn't about like staying stuck and looping. There's a difference. If you find yourself sort of looping and saying the same things over and over again, is different than actually just getting out the thing that you've been holding on to and not allowing space for. And if you find yourself looping, that's when you want to write stuff down, and at least like almost more in a list format. I prefer that, especially for a loop, because even in a loop, you can kind of like write forever and you start writing the same things over and over again. But if you kind of like take it apart and write down, like, okay, what is this that I'm actually frustrated with? And write down thing one. Okay, cool. Write down thing two. Write down thing three. And maybe that's it. Maybe there's 6 things. But my guess is it's not 100. It's probably somewhere between 2 and 5 of things that are actually bugging you that you're not looking at. And then go through those things. Okay. What is required for each one of these things? Can I do anything about any of them right now? If so, great. Let's do that. Address that. And if a lot of it are things that are sort of out of your control, that you're still waiting on something for, or the other person that's made you mad isn't a person that you really want to have a conversation with, or you don't think it's going to be productive. You sort of know how that person responds to confrontation, or what you might be looking for as a discussion, and they might turn into confrontation. And then you make a different choice of like, okay, then what do I need to do for me in order to stay grounded and let this go and let it move through? One of the things I found to be very helpful is to have a conversation with somebody's higher self. So you can just tap into that person and be like, all right, here's all the things I would like to say to this person that I know they can't hear from my body to their body in person, but I can have an out loud conversation to their higher self alone. You're by yourself for this, and say all the things that you need to say to them and allow that to move through you. And you might be aware of a response from their higher self, and you might not. And either way, it's okay, because it's you just needing to get these things out. If you've ever had the urge to like call somebody and you're like, I really want to call this person because I really want to have this conversation. But if you like think about it, you're like, how is that actually going to end? Is that actually going to solve the problem? Or is that going to keep us in this loop that we've been in? I find that those are the best times to just have a conversation and say everything you want to say to their higher self. If you don't like talking out loud to no one, I get it. I don't know. I do it. But if that's weird for you, write it out. But write it as like a letter, like the things you would like to say to this person, and then get rid of the letter. Don't send it. Don't give it to them. You can burn it or stash it away or tear it up in little pieces, whatever works for you. But let that go then, and truly let it, like all that tension that you've been holding on to in your body, let that leave. And then start to look at like, okay, What is it that I need to change about the way that I've been that isn't working for me? So maybe it's that you've not spoken up in situations where you could speak up. Or maybe it's that you've been ignoring your regular movement routine, whether that's walking or dancing or lifting weights or Pilates or yoga, whatever it is that you do to move your body. Maybe you've had a lot of other things get in the way lately. And so you've negated that and notice where those differences show up. Are you noticing more tension in your body and in your mind? Because exercise and movement helps move all of those emotions and stuck energies through. So look at where you can implement that back in your life, even if you're on vacation, say. I found that I've had some few recent trips lately. And even though I don't have my weights with me, so I can't do my normal like weighted Pilates routine, I've still been like, okay, but I can still do yoga and I can still go on walks. And do I do that every day? No. Sometimes we have something that's like early in the morning or something else going on that usually involves some level of movement. I just got back from Tennessee and I went on a hike one day and I was like, oh, I'm so out of my routine. But I had to remember that going on a hike was actually plenty of exercise and movement. It was just not my normal exercise and movement. So actually my body really loved that because I don't get to go on big strenuous hikes here outside Chicago because we don't have the mountains that Tennessee has to offer. So that was actually wonderful. But there were other days that were probably going to be pool days where we were just kind of sitting around. And those were days that I made sure to get up and do yoga because I still need to move my body. And I feel like if I don't do that, I feel icky. I feel stuck. I feel stagnant. It doesn't feel good for me if I don't get to move in some way, shape, or form. So even if you're on vacation, even if you're out of your element, if you're traveling, look at like what can you still do to not completely lose the things that normally help regulate your nervous system. Also, meditation. My meditation's non-negotiable. I do it every day, even if I'm out of town, even if I have other things going on. Now, do I do my full meditation every time? Not necessarily. I might shorten it or put it in a different part of the day, but I know that I am so much more relaxed when I have my meditation in my day. So, you again figure out what works for you. But when you find that you're sort of on edge more often, look at what have you sort of let go by the wayside because you've had other things going on, and how can you bring that back into your life? One of the other things I found is such like a great grounding thing in the moment is affirmations. And it's so funny. I just got back into affirmations in the last few months. It was something I really let go of for a really long time. I kind of believed they didn't work. And, I don't know. I had all sorts of interesting beliefs about them. And I've pulled them back into my life. And it's so cool because now that I've been actually like honing in on them and making them part of my regular routine and looking up new affirmations, finding them in books, various places. I'm finding that, like, wow, if I would have just stuck to these, it actually has totally changed my life, changed my body, changed the way I see myself, changed the way that I see the world. So, if you're finding yourself irritable, I looked up a few just for irritation. So, maybe this is helpful to you. So, the first one is just been my own thing that I have been using a ton. I think I talked about it in a different podcast when we were talking about manifestation, but it's people are doing the best that they can, and it's not personal. Every time somebody has done something that feels like a slight to me, right? Somebody says something kind of off putting or that feels insulting, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, or somebody just does something that just makes you go, oh, why is everybody acting like this? A great affirmation is people are doing the best they can and it's not personal. That has changed so much for me. A few others. I choose peace over irritation. I lovingly release the need to be upset. All is well in my world. Another one. I am willing to let go of anger and embrace calm. I am safe. I trust life to support me in every moment. Use those however you want to. So those are from Louise Hay, and I love Louise Hay's affirmations. I am often looking for affirmations that come from her on varying ways of dealing with things, because I think that she has such a beautiful energy when it comes to, I mean, a lot of things, but particularly affirmations. So try those things. See what changes. See if you're able to just slow down, come back to the present, come back to the now, and know that at the end of the day, people are going to do the best that they can. And if you can get that it's not at you, it's not personal, it's not about you, everybody is on their own journey, it allows you so much more space and freedom. And if you find yourself irritated with you, where you've done something and you're like, oh, why did I do it that way? Or why do I always mess things up? Or whatever that is, it's the same thing. I'm doing the best I can with what I have in this moment. I'm getting better all the time. And I don't have to judge myself in order to have peace. Whatever pops for you, but just to remind yourself that you don't have to be in judgment of you. Being in judgment of you actually doesn't create anything positive. All it does is spike your nervous system and make you feel more dysregulated than if you actually get out of judgment of yourself. And you're like, hey, it's been a weird day. It's been a weird month, whatever that is. I'm doing the best I can. I'm choosing peace now, and I'm not judging myself for this anymore. I can have allowance for me. I can have kindness for me. I can have compassion for me. And I can still choose to do things in a way that work better for me than maybe they did before. But give yourself grace and know that you are doing the best you can, just like everybody else is too. And you get better and better every day. So it's not like I don't know. People are like, "Oh, I don't want to like let myself off the hook," or whatever that thing is that people do. They're like, "No, I need to hold myself accountable." Yeah, hold yourself accountable, but you don't have to judge yourself while doing it. You can still make an effort to do things differently in a way that's more productive, in a way that works better for you, has a better outcome for you, without being in judgment of you. Instead, just to be willing to have peace with you and see what that changes for you also. Last thing, I know I talk about this a lot, but I'm adding it in because it feels important. It's really hard to be angry and grateful at the same time. It's really hard to be in judgment and grateful at the same time. So, whether you're angry, irritable, judging you, frustrated, whatever that is, gratitude is always the antidote. So, if you can just take a moment, maybe you go for a walk and find things to be grateful for, whether it's find things to be grateful for in your life, find things to be grateful for around you, find things to be grateful for about you, but find things to be grateful for. And make a list if you have paper in front of you. And if you don't, just make a list out loud. I went on a walk this morning and I was like, I am so grateful for this neighborhood. And then there was these beautiful lilies growing in front of me as I was walking. I was like, oh, I'm so grateful for these beautiful lilies. And I looked up at the sky and the clouds were white and fluffy. And I was like, oh, I'm so grateful for these beautiful clouds. And it's really easy when you're walking to find a million things to be grateful for because everything around you is beautiful. Even if it's a rainy, stormy day, you can be grateful for the rain, for the water, for the nourishment that the earth provides. You can find things to be grateful for everywhere. And also, it doesn't hurt to be grateful for your life, for your choices, for you, and everything that you are being and creating in the world. And the more gratitude that you practice, the harder it is for irritability and anger and frustration and all those energies to come through, because gratitude is such a higher vibration that it keeps you in that space if you're willing to have it and be it. So, yes, I'm a little bit of a broken record in that I will always talk about gratitude, but it makes such a difference. So I think that is all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere sometime soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.